Meditation tip 291. Alone. Guys, try to notice today in your own experience that the typical average person cannot be alone. They're uncomfortable being alone. And when they're alone, they're not really alone, right? Because if you're alone, what do? You distract yourself with certain things. You watch TV, you play video games, you're on your phone, you're looking on the internet, whatever. You can't just sit there or just be peaceful doing nothing. And this is a huge insight if you actually take the time and observe this and question, why the hell can't you just be alone and peaceful? Isn't that the most obvious thing to be able to do, is just nothing and be okay with it? And if you actually observe this, it's crazy because you can't, because your mind runs you. It runs your life and you're unconscious. And when you're alone, that's when you're closest to noticing it. And your mind won't allow you to do it, because if you notice it, you're going to take control and you're going to start seeing that the mind is a crazy entity running your life and making you be miserable. Because if you can't be alone with yourself and be peaceful, how the hell are you going to ever be peaceful around other people and situations and whatever? Like, you can't be by yourself and be peaceful. Isn't that crazy? Have you ever noticed this? Have you noticed that you always have to do things because you can't be alone with yourself? You're the crazy one. And when you can notice this, then you'll start seeing, why the hell is this the case? And then when you can do this for the first time, you'll start have this aha moment that you're the psycho. Your crazy mind is a psycho, and you can disconnect from it and actually be peaceful and touch your true nature. But right now, you're just distracted because the mind does not want you to know this, right? It wants to run your life. It wants you to be unconscious so that the entity that it is, it calculates and takes you everywhere, right? It can't just sit still, because that's when you have your power and you can connect to your truth. But you have to do this first and be uncomfortable to start noticing that you're the crazy thing. Your mind is anyways. But most people, they can't be alone because they need to get distracted, because their mind runs their life, right? So that's why you have to go through this uncomfortable stage of taking a day in your life and just sitting there and doing absolutely nothing. Nothing. No phone, no TV, no food to distract you with. Just sit there and notice that you can't do it. And once you can notice that, then you can start breaking away from that. And once you can be alone and be peaceful, then your life becomes amazing, because you can be anywhere. A lineup, you can be okay. You can be in traffic, you could be okay. But as long as you're run by your mind, you can't be okay anywhere, because you're the crazy thing, right? So you take it with you everywhere you go. The situations just differ, but you're the psycho. Your mind entity can't let you be peaceful because it's the crazy thing. Okay, so you need to start being alone to start noticing this crazy madness, and then start working on it. Start putting yourself in that uncomfortable alone position so that you start gaining your power back. or else it's always just going to run you. And it kind of sucks like that because you're always dependent on your mind. It's taken over you and it keeps you unconscious, and then you're miserable wherever you go. Unless things kind of happen that the mind wants, like a goal or whatever, then it can be okay for a couple seconds, and then again it needs the next thing, right? So it's constantly running you, and that's the biggest problem in your life. And if you can't notice this until you die, then you're basically just run by your own mind, and it kind of is brutal. Living life like that sucks because you're never gonna be okay. You're never gonna be okay to just have nothing, basically, because eventually everything goes away, right? So all the physical stuff, even your strength, your body starts deteriorating, and then you're going to suffer more and more because you need things, and you need to have more and more things to satisfy you. But when you start being alone, being okay with it, and being conscious, then you can start living a happy life because it's just, you're okay with anything. And this is amazing if you can actually start doing this for yourself. But many people are so captured by their mind that even when they are alone, they're so uncomfortable because their mind makes them. You can't sit still. So they start getting distracted and being in that, right? So wherever they go, they're never alone. And they can't notice this crazy monster running their life. So don't be like that, and start taking the time to just be alone and noticing how uncomfortable it is. And then keep doing it, and then you'll see that it's not so uncomfortable. It's actually amazing, but it's uncomfortable for your mind, which is the thing that's taken over you. And yeah, of course it's going to be uncomfortable because it wants control, and you're going to gain it back if you're alone. So do it. Be alone and be okay with doing nothing. So check it out. Let me know how it goes. Subscribe to my channel. Like this video. Share this with people. And peace.